Sure. So basically what I did was I interviewed, I think it was 10 victims of domestic violence in the South Asian community, and I asked them questions around sort of what their interaction was with the medical system, with their family doctors, and what types of resources they felt they had available to them. And then just also talked about their experiences within that relationship. A lot of the women I talked to had left that relationship, and so it was, I asked them questions about what was the impetus to leave, what barriers did they face, certain things around cultural issues that may have come up. And then what I did with that information is I put it all together and I came up with a short story. And so I presented that short story sort of as the findings of my research. I understand the importance of research, traditional research, but it's never really been that strong an interest of mine. And so I've always had an interest in the arts, but didn't really, before this, formally get to explore that. So when I saw the opportunity to kind of marry the two, I jumped at it. I thought it would be an interesting way of telling their stories as well. Presenting it as a short story I thought was a little bit more impactful than just presenting traditional research.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of basic arts courses in undergrad. I used to write a bit before that, so I used to do a bit of creative writing before that, but nothing really too formal. And so that's why I wanted to sort of do this project. So it kind of put me out there and made me explore that opportunity. My experience with the ARP was a good one. I was quite supported, I felt. Dr. Ruth Martin was quite instrumental, I think, in pushing me forward through the project. She helped me in the study design and in trying to, there was a little bit of some nuance in terms of designing the study around such a sensitive topic, and she helped me through that. Dr. Karen Shiklanka was actually quite helpful as well with the creative writing process. So I felt quite well supported. I enjoyed it. Listening to the women's stories for me was quite impactful. And I really was inspired by their courage of coming forward and telling their stories.
Yeah.
For me, there were no barriers in terms of pursuing an IARP. I thought I was well supported that way. The barrier was probably recruiting women for the study. It's understandably it was quite difficult to get a number of women to open up and tell their stories, such personal stories anyways. So that was a bit of a barrier, but in the end I was able to recruit enough women to discuss their experiences. I thought it had a good impact. I think presenting something in a form of fiction. So basically on research day I read out my short story. And I feel like taking them through that short story and that experience, really put them in the shoes of a victim, and help them understand some of the things that go through South Asian women's minds and some of the things that they face. And I think that the way I did it probably had more of an impact than presenting just traditional stats and research. And hopefully it sort of opened their eyes to what sort of cultural issues are faced and what unique circumstances there are around domestic violence in the South Asian community. I don't think I'd really change anything. I think overall everything went quite well. For the future, I'd really like probably more encouragement for students to go through IARPs. I think it's a legitimate research option, and I think it should be presented as a legitimate option for students in the future, because I think bringing in that multidisciplinary aspect really opens possibilities in the types of research and the types of stories that can be told.